The Galactic Council and its alien enforcers faced humanity's wrath. Commander Jack Miller stood at the observation deck of Earth's orbital defense station, his eyes fixed on the stars beyond the thick glass. For years he had told anyone who would listen that humans were not alone in the universe. Most people laughed at him. Some called him crazy. Today, no one was laughing anymore. The first signs came early that morning. Strange energy readings near Jupiter. Then silence from the outposts on Mars. By noon they appeared, 7 massive ships, black as night, moving into Earth's orbit with impossible speed and grace. "Commander, they're broadcasting on all frequencies," said Lieutenant Roy Adams, his voice shaking slightly. Jack nodded. "Put it through." The screen flickered to life. Jack felt his breath catch in his throat. The alien was humanoid, but clearly not human. Its skin was pale blue, with no hair and large solid black eyes that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. "People of Earth," the alien spoke in perfect English. "I am High Executor Zalvex of the Galactic Council Enforcement Division. Your planet is now under quarantine by order of the Council of 12. No human vessels may travel beyond your solar system. Any attempt to break quarantine will be met with immediate force." Jack stepped forward. "This is Commander Jack Miller of the Earth Defense Fleet. We have made no hostile actions against your council. By what right do you restrict our movement?" The alien's expression didn't change. "By right of galactic security. The council has observed your species for centuries. You are deemed unpredictably violent and evolutionarily unstable. Your containment is non-negotiable." The transmission ended. Within hours, smaller ships deployed from the alien vessels, establishing checkpoints at key points throughout the solar system. Earth's government scrambled to respond, but they were hopelessly outmatched in technology and firepower. 3 days later, Ambassador Susan Wright arrived at the defense station. She was tall, with short gray hair and the determined look of someone used to solving impossible problems. "Commander Miller," she said, shaking his hand firmly, "I've been appointed to establish communication with these council representatives." Jack led her to the command center. "With all due respect, Ambassador, they don't seem interested in talking." Susan smiled thinly. "Everyone says that until the right person starts the conversation." The ambassador's shuttle approached the largest alien ship the next day. Jack watched from the station, his hands clenched into fists. The shuttle was allowed to dock, and for 6 hours there was no communication. When Susan finally returned, her face told the story before she spoke a word. "They wouldn't budge," she said in the privacy of Jack's office. "They see us as children playing with matches. Dangerous, unpredictable, and too violent for our own." "Good." Jack slammed his fist on the desk. "We've barely left our own solar system. How could we possibly threaten them?" "It's not what we've done," Susan replied. "It's what they believe we might do. The council representative showed me records of our history, wars, environmental damage, rapid technological development. They're afraid of our potential." 2 weeks passed. The alien enforcers established more monitoring stations throughout the solar system. 3 human ships that tried to pass the blockade were disabled with some kind of energy pulse and towed back to Earth orbit. Dr. Alan Garcia arrived at the station next. He was the head of Earth's Xenobiology Division, a small man with keen eyes and a quick mind. "I need to show you something," he said without greeting. Jack and Susan followed him to the lab where he had been studying data from the alien ships. "Look, at these readings," Alan pointed to his screen. "Their ships emit a specific radiation pattern. When we sent probes near their vessels, they immediately adjusted their shields." Susan leaned closer. "What does it mean?" "It means they're protecting themselves from something," Alan said. "I compared it with all known harmful radiation types to humans. This specific frequency barely affects us at all, but they're extremely sensitive to it." Jack's eyes widened. "Are you saying we've accidentally found a weakness?" Alan nodded. "Their biology must be fundamentally different. What's harmless to us could be devastating to them." "That explains their fear," Susan said softly. "They're not containing us because we're violent. They're containing us because we're resilient in ways they're not." That night, Jack couldn't sleep. He stood again at the observation window, watching the alien ships glide silently through Earth's orbit. A plan was forming in his mind. The next morning, he called Susan and Alan to his office. "We need to understand more about these council races, their biology, their technology, their real intentions." "They won't tell us anything," Susan pointed out. Jack smiled for the first time in weeks. "Then we'll have to find out for ourselves." He pulled up a map of the solar system, highlighting one of the smaller monitoring stations near the moon. "This station is minimally staffed according to our scans. If we could get someone inside." "That's incredibly risky," Susan warned. "Riskier than waiting for them to decide our fate?" Jack asked. Alan studied the station schematic. "We'd need someone who understands alien biology and technology. And someone who can move undetected," Jack added. He pressed a button on his desk. "Lieutenant Bennett, please report to my office." Lieutenant Olivia Bennett arrived minutes later. She was of medium height with short brown hair and moved with the silent grace of someone trained in stealth operations. "Yatin." "Wanted to see me, Commander?" she asked. Jack gestured for her to sit. "How would you like to be the first human to infiltrate an alien space station?" Olivia didn't even blink. "When do I leave?" 3 days later, a small maintenance ship drifted toward the lunar monitoring station. It appeared to be derelict, rotating slowly as if abandoned. Inside, Olivia wore a specially designed suit that would mask her life signs from alien sensors. "Approaching target zone," she whispered into her comm. No response from the station. They're ignoring the debris. Back at the defense station, Jack, Susan, and Alan watched her helmet camera feed with tense expressions. "Remember," Alan said, "your priority is information, biology, technology, and most importantly, their true purpose here." The derelict ship bumped gently against the alien station. Olivia activated her magnetic boots and stepped out into the vacuum, moving carefully along the station's hull until she found an access panel. Using tools Alan had designed based on observations of alien technology, she bypassed the security and slipped inside. The station's interior was dimly lit with strange flowing patterns on the walls that seemed to move when viewed directly. Olivia moved through empty corridors, recording everything. She found what appeared to be a control room and connected a translator device to one of the consoles. "I'm in," she whispered. "Downloading their database now." As the download progressed, Olivia noticed something on another screen. Images of Earth scanning data and what looked like biological samples labeled in alien script. "Commander," she said, her voice tight with controlled anger, "I don't think quarantine is their only mission. They're taking samples, human samples." The download completed just as alarms began to sound throughout the station. "I've been detected," Olivia reported calmly. Heading to extraction point, Jack's knuckles were white as he gripped the edge of the console. "Get out of there, Lieutenant." The next 10 minutes were the longest of Jack's life as Olivia evaded alien security measures, making her way back to the maintenance ship. When she finally departed the station, 3 alien vessels were in pursuit. "I won't lead them back to you," Olivia said. Initiating Plan B. She steered toward a field of space debris, the remnants of old satellites. The alien ships followed, their superior technology allowing them to navigate the hazardous field with ease. But Olivia wasn't trying to outrun them. She activated a device Alan had given her, a focused emitter of the specific radiation frequency the aliens feared. The effect was immediate. The pursuing ships faltered, their systems temporarily disrupted. In that brief window, Olivia activated her ship's experimental drive and disappeared from their sensors. 6 hours later, she was back at the defense station, the stolen data already being analyzed by Alan's team. "It's worse than we thought," Alan said grimly as they gathered in Jack's office. "They're not just containing us. They're studying us. Our DNA contains sequences they've never seen before, sequences that might help them cure degenerative conditions affecting several council species." Jack looked out at the alien ship still orbiting Earth. "So we're not just prisoners," he said quietly. "We're lab rats." Susan's face hardened with resolve. Then it's time we showed them that these rats can bite. The Galactic Council and its alien enforcers faced humanity's wrath. The data Lieutenant Olivia Bennett brought back from the alien station changed everything. For 3 days, Dr. Alan Garcia and his team worked without rest, analyzing the stolen information. Commander Jack Miller watched them with growing concern as their faces became more troubled with each discovery. "We need to show this to every world leader," Alan said, his voice hoarse from exhaustion. "The Council isn't just studying us. They're harvesting from us." Jack looked at the screen showing complex DNA sequences. "Explain it in simple terms." Alan pointed to specific highlighted sections. "Humans have genetic adaptations that most species in the galaxy don't possess. Our ability to survive radiation, disease, and environmental changes is rare. The Council species are suffering from what they call evolutionary stagnation. Their bodies are breaking down and they think our DNA holds the solution." Ambassador Susan Wright shook her head in disbelief. "So the quarantine is to keep us contained while they collect what they need," Alan finished. "Like farmers keeping livestock penned in." Jack's face hardened. "How are they collecting samples?" The answer came 3 days later. Reports flooded in from around the world of people disappearing. Small numbers at first, a family here, a few workers there, always from remote areas where they wouldn't be missed immediately. Then a Council Hunter-class ship vanished near Neptune. The Council immediately blamed human aggression, claiming Earth had somehow developed weapons capable of destroying their advanced vessels. More Hunter ships disappeared in the following weeks. High Executor Zalvex appeared on all broadcast channels with a message. Due to unprovoked human hostility, the Council has no choice but to implement stricter containment protocols. All orbital stations are now under Council control. Resistance will result in planetary sanctions. Within hours, Council forces seized the International Space Station and 3 commercial space platforms. The crew members were sent back to Earth in escape pods. "We had nothing to do with those missing ships," Jack said during an emergency meeting with Earth's Defense Council. "We don't have the capability to attack them that far out in the system." General Nancy Reeves, head of Earth's combined military forces, leaned forward. "Maybe we should develop that capability." In a secret facility beneath the Rocky Mountains, engineer Peter Collins worked with a team of scientists to study the alien technology. Peter was young, barely 30, with bright eyes that missed nothing and hands that could build almost anything. "Their ships use a form of light manipulation we've never seen before," he explained to Jack and Susan during a secure video call. "They don't just bend light for propulsion, they use it for their sensors and defense systems too." Jack looked interested for the first time in days. "Can we use that against them?" Peter smiled. "I think so. If we can bend light in ways they don't expect, we might be able to move undetected. I'm calling it shadow tech." While Peter worked on the stealth technology, Colonel Diane Martinez began training special forces for zero-gravity combat. Diane was tough and practical, with 20 years of military experience and an uncanny ability to adapt to new fighting conditions. "Fighting in space isn't like fighting on Earth," she told her troops. "There's no up or down, no cover to hide behind, and no room for error." Her soldiers trained in vacuum chambers and modified aircraft that could create brief periods of weightlessness. They learned to use specially designed weapons that wouldn't cause hull breaches in spacecraft. Most importantly, they learned to think in 3 dimensions. Meanwhile, something strange was happening in the outer solar system. More Council ships disappeared, but not through human action. Probe data showed unusual energy readings near Neptune, something ancient and powerful stirring in the darkness. On Earth, people watched the skies with a mixture of fear and defiance. Militia groups formed in many countries. Scientists worked around the clock to understand alien technology. For the first time in human history, the entire planet was united against a common threat. Dr. Garcia made another breakthrough while studying Council biology. "They evolved in environments with minimal change," he explained to Jack. "Their home planets have stable climates, few natural disasters, and limited seasonal variation. So they never needed to adapt like we did," Susan said, understanding. Immediately, Alan nodded. "Exactly. Humans evolved on a planet with ice ages, volcanic eruptions, shifting continents, and rapid climate changes. We had to adapt or die. The Council species never faced those challenges. That's why they fear us, Jack realized. We're unpredictable because we had to be. In orbit around Earth, the Council accelerated their plans. A massive structure began to take shape, piece by piece, assembled by automated ships. The Council claimed it was a cultural exchange platform where selected humans would learn about galactic civilization. Susan didn't believe it for a second. "That's no cultural center," she said, studying telescope images. "Those are laboratory modules and weapon platforms." Jack agreed. "They're building something big, and we need to know what it is." The opportunity came when the Council requested a meeting with Earth representatives to discuss improved relations. Susan would attend as Earth's official ambassador, but her real mission was to gather intelligence. The meeting took place on the half-completed orbital structure. Susan was escorted by alien guards through gleaming corridors into a large chamber, where Council representatives waited. The main speaker was not Zalvex, but another alien identified as Counselor Kralthep. "Ambassador Wright," the counselor said with a gesture that might have been a greeting. "The Council wishes to express regret for recent tensions. We propose a new arrangement that will benefit both our peoples." Susan remained diplomatic but alert. "We're always open to mutually beneficial arrangements." As the discussion continued, Susan noticed small details that confirmed their suspicions. Guards standing near certain doorways, strange equipment visible through partly opened doors, and most telling of all, the subtle way Kralthep avoided direct answers about the disappeared humans. When the meeting ended, Susan was escorted back to her shuttle. She had seen enough to know they were in grave danger. What Susan didn't know was that the Council had already accelerated their plans. That same day, a Council ship descended on a research outpost on Mars. 300 human scientists and workers were taken, loaded onto transport vessels bound for the orbital structure. But one technician managed to send an emergency signal before being captured. The message reached Earth Defense Headquarters, where Jack received it with cold fury. "They've taken our people from Mars," he told his officers. 300 civilians. The room fell silent. Then Captain Frank Wilson spoke up. "Sir, my team is ready. Peter's shadow tech works. We've tested it." Jack looked at the young captain. Frank was steady and reliable, with a quiet confidence that inspired trust. "You understand what you're volunteering for? This isn't a drill. If you're caught, there's no rescue." Frank nodded solemnly. "Those are our people up there, sir. We can't leave them." Jack made his decision. "Prepare your team, Captain. You launch in 6 hours." As Frank left to brief his soldiers, Jack turned to the window. The alien ships hung in the sky like dark stars, powerful and threatening. But they had made a crucial mistake. They had threatened humanity's existence, and in doing so, they had awakened something they couldn't understand. The indomitable human spirit that had survived ice ages, plagues, and countless disasters. A spirit that would not accept captivity or extinction. The Council was about to learn why threatening humans was the biggest mistake they could have made. The Galactic Council and its alien enforcers faced humanity's wrath. Captain Frank Wilson and his team prepared in silence. Each soldier checked their equipment one final time. Their special suits could withstand the vacuum of space and had built-in thrusters for movement. Their weapons were designed to work in zero gravity, but their greatest advantage was Peter Collins' shadow tech, which bent light around their ship, making it nearly invisible to Council sensors. "Remember the mission," Frank told his team. "We get in, find our people, and get out. No heroics." Their ship, named Ghost, was small and fast. It launched from Earth under cover of darkness with no lights or radio communication. The shadow tech activated as soon as they cleared the atmosphere. To any watching eyes, they simply disappeared. As Ghost approached the massive Council structure in orbit, Frank felt his heart pounding. Everything depended on the shadow tech working as planned. If they were detected, they would be instantly destroyed. "Coming up on entry point," whispered Lieutenant Andy Parker, the pilot. "Ready in 3, 2, 1. Ghost slipped into a maintenance dock undetected. The team exited quickly, moving through the station in pairs. Frank and Sergeant Maria Gomez took the lead, following the layout they had studied from Ambassador Wright's observations. The corridors were dimly lit with strange flowing patterns on the walls. The air smelled different, slightly sweet and tangy. They moved silently, avoiding the few alien guards they encountered. Frank's team reached a large door with unusual markings. Dr. Garcia had taught them enough alien language to recognize the word for specimens. "This is it," Frank whispered. He placed a device on the control panel, and after a few tense moments, the door slid open. Inside, they found rows of clear containers. Each held a human, floating in blue liquid connected to tubes and monitoring devices. They were alive but unconscious. "Start getting them out," Frank ordered. "Carefully." As his team worked to free the captives, Frank explored further into the facility. In a smaller room, he found research equipment and data screens. Though he couldn't read most of it, the images were clear enough. Alien scientists studying human DNA, testing reactions to different stimuli, experimenting with genetic modifications. "Sir," Maria called softly, "we've got a problem. There are too many people to fit on Ghost. We've counted over 200 so far, and there are more rooms." Frank's mind raced. They had planned to rescue maybe 50 people, not hundreds. "We need a larger transport," he said finally, "and I think I know where to find one." While half the team continued freeing the captives, Frank led the others to the docking bay. There they found what he had hoped for, Council transport ships used to bring the humans from Mars. "Andy, can you fly one of these?" The pilot examined the alien controls. "I think so. The basic principles should be similar." "Good. Get it ready. We're taking everyone home." Back in the holding area, Maria and her team had freed most of the captives. Many were weak and disoriented, but they could walk with assistance. The rescue team began moving them toward the docking bay in small groups. They were almost done when the alarm sounded. "We've been detected," Frank said. "Everyone move now." The last of the captives rushed toward the transport ship. Frank and 3 soldiers stayed behind to cover their escape. Alien guards appeared at the end of the corridor, firing weapons that shot pulses of blue energy. "Fall back," Frank ordered. His team returned fire, their special weapons sending electromagnetic pulses that disrupted the alien equipment. As Frank turned to retreat, a blue energy pulse hit him in the shoulder. The pain was intense, but his suit prevented serious damage. He staggered to the docking bay where Maria waited to pull him aboard the transport. "Everyone's on board," she reported. "Andy says he can fly this thing." "Then let's go," Frank said through gritted teeth. The transport ship departed the station, immediately coming under fire from Council defense systems. The ship rocked with each near miss. "The shadow tech," Frank said. "Can we adapt it to this ship?" Peter Collins had insisted on joining the mission, and now Frank was grateful for his presence. "I'm trying," Peter said, frantically working with the alien systems. "It's not designed for something this big." Just when it seemed they wouldn't escape, something unexpected happened. The Council weapons suddenly stopped firing. Their ships appeared to lose power, drifting aimlessly. "What happened?" Maria asked. "I don't know," Frank admitted. "But I'm not waiting to find out. Andy, get us to Earth now." As the transport approached Earth, they received a transmission from Commander Miller. "Captain Wilson, is that you on that alien ship?" "Yes, sir," Frank replied. "Mission accomplished. We have the captives from Mars plus many more. But something strange happened up there. The Council ships just shut down." Jack's voice contained a hint of satisfaction. "That wasn't an accident, Captain. Welcome to humanity's counterattack." While Frank's team had been conducting the rescue, Dr. Lisa Chen had been leading another critical mission. Lisa was brilliant and determined, working from a hidden laboratory beneath the Pacific Ocean. For months, she had been reverse engineering captured Council technology to develop a revolutionary propulsion system. But her team had also created something else, a virus designed to infiltrate Council communications. As Frank learned upon returning to Earth, Lisa's team had successfully implanted the virus into the Council's network through a relay station near Jupiter. The virus had temporarily disabled weapon systems throughout the solar system. "It won't last long," Lisa explained during the debriefing. "Their systems will reset eventually, but it gives us time to prepare the next phase." The rescued humans provided valuable intelligence about Council operations. They described laboratories where aliens studied human physiology, testing limits of endurance and adaptation. They spoke of conversations overheard, revealing the Council's fear of humanity's potential. One scientist, Dr. Paul Green, had managed to learn some of the alien language. They kept talking about something called protocol extinction. "I think it's their final solution if they can't contain us." This information reached the highest levels of Earth's governments. For the first time, leaders acknowledged that diplomacy alone would not solve this crisis. Humanity would have to fight for its survival. General Nancy Reeves presented a bold plan to Earth's United Defense Council. "We now have Dr. Chen's propulsion system and Peter Collins's shadow tech. We have Colonel Martinez's trained space combat forces, and we have a window of opportunity while the Council recovers from the virus attack." The plan was approved. Across the planet, manufacturing facilities switched to producing components for the new fleet. Volunteer pilots began training on simulators based on the captured transport ship's controls. Military forces prepared for the first human offensive beyond Earth's orbit. While preparations continued, Ambassador Wright made contact with two unexpected allies. Through encrypted channels came messages from representatives of minor council races, the empathic Trellari and the silicon-based Voth. Both species had long disagreed with the Council's treatment of developing races. "We can provide intelligence on Council movements," the Trellari representative offered. "Many of us believe the current leadership has betrayed the Council's original purpose." With this new alliance forming, Commander Miller assembled a small team for one final crucial mission before the main assault. They would target a Council relay station near Jupiter, the same one Lisa's team had used to plant the first virus. "This time we're going to give them something more permanent," Jack told Olivia Bennett, who would lead the mission. "A virus that will disable their weapons across the entire solar system." As Earth prepared for open war, a mood of grim determination spread. Humanity stood on the brink of its greatest challenge and its greatest opportunity. If they succeeded, they would claim their place among the stars. If they failed, Earth would become just another quarantined planet, its people reduced to specimens in alien laboratories. The future of the human race would be decided in the coming days. The Galactic Council and its alien enforcers faced humanity's wrath. Lieutenant Olivia Bennett's mission to the Jupiter relay station succeeded beyond all expectations. Her team planted the virus in the Council's communication network, and within hours, weapon systems on Council ships throughout the solar system went dark. The aliens could still move and communicate, but they could no longer fire on human vessels. "We have a window of opportunity," Commander Jack Miller told the assembled military leaders. "Our intelligence suggests we have 3 days before they can purge the virus from their systems." General Nancy Reeves nodded. "Then we launch in 12 hours. Earth's counterattack began with 50 ships equipped with Dr. Chen's new propulsion systems and Peter Collins's shadow tech. The newly commissioned battleship Defiance led the fleet, with General William Harris in command. The general was a veteran of many Earth conflicts, with gray hair and a face that showed the burden of difficult decisions. "All ships report ready," his communications officer announced. William looked at the holographic display showing Council positions. "Then let's show them what humans can do. All ships, advance." The human fleet moved faster than any vessels in Earth's history, accelerating toward the massive Council structure in orbit. Thanks to the shadow tech, they were nearly invisible until they opened fire. The attack caught the Council completely by surprise. Their ships tried to evade, but without weapons, they could only retreat. The massive orbital structure had some backup defense systems that weren't affected by the virus, but they weren't enough to stop the determined human assault. High Executor Zalvex watched in disbelief from his command ship. For the first time in his long life, he experienced true fear. His carefully ordered universe was being challenged by a species his people had gravely underestimated. "Send the emergency signal," he ordered. "We need reinforcements immediately." His communications officer hesitated. "Sir, that would mean admitting we've lost control of the situation." Zalvex's eyes flashed with anger. "Send it now. Tell them we face extinction if they don't respond." The emergency signal went out, but the nearest council reinforcements were 2 weeks away. Until then, Zalvex and his forces would have to survive against an enemy they had never truly understood. On Earth, civilians joined the war effort in ways no one had anticipated. Networks of computer experts led by Samantha Reed, a brilliant programmer with a talent for understanding alien systems, targeted council communication networks. Using knowledge gained from the captured technology, they sent false orders and misleading information, causing confusion among council forces. Manufacturing facilities worked around the clock, producing components for the growing human fleet. Farmers provided food for the military. Medical teams prepared to treat the injured. The entire planet united as never before. Inside the council's orbital structure, General Harris led a boarding party. They fought their way through alien defenders, securing key areas and gathering valuable intelligence. "Sir, you need to see this," a soldier called out, pointing to a large room filled with strange equipment. William entered cautiously. The room contained what appeared to be a massive weapon, partially assembled. "What is it?" he asked. Dr. Alan Garcia, who had insisted on joining the mission, studied the device with growing horror. "If I'm reading these alien schematics correctly, it's some kind of planetary bombardment system, designed to hit Earth with precisely targeted strikes." William's face darkened. This is what they meant by protocol extinction. They were planning to wipe us out if they couldn't control us. As the battle raged near Earth, something unexpected happened in the outer solar system. The council ships patrolling near Saturn suddenly began sending distress signals. Then they went silent. One by one, they disappeared from tracking systems. Ambassador Susan Wright, monitoring the situation from Earth Defense Headquarters, noticed the pattern. Something's happening out there. Something not caused by us. Commander Miller studied the data. "Whatever it is, it's only targeting council ships. Our probes are unaffected." The answer came from an unexpected source. The Trillari representative contacted Susan with urgent information. "What you're witnessing is the awakening of the Guardian. It's a defense system left by the precursors." "The precursors?" Susan asked. "An ancient civilization that once inhabited many worlds, including Earth. They left self-activating defense systems to protect their former territories. The Council has known about them for centuries but believed them all inactive. This one appears to have recognized Council ships as invaders." The news spread quickly. Humanity wasn't fighting alone. Some ancient connection to Earth's past had provided an unexpected ally. With Council forces in disarray, William Harris completed the capture of the orbital structure. Inside, they found extensive data about Council operations throughout the galaxy. The information revealed that Earth wasn't the first world to be quarantined. Dozens of developing species had been contained, studied, and in some cases exploited for resources or genetic material. "We need to get this information to everyone," William told Jack during a secure transmission. "Not just humans, but all, the species affected by the Council." Ambassador Wright, with help from her Trillari and Voth allies, began transmitting evidence of the Council's true intentions to every known civilization in the galaxy. The revelation that the mighty Galactic Council was harvesting genetic material from quarantined species created a diplomatic crisis that threatened the Council's very existence. Meanwhile, High Executor Zalvex retreated to the edge of the solar system with his remaining ships. His reinforcements were still days away, but he refused to admit defeat. "The humans are dangerous," he told his officers. "Now they have access to technology they don't understand. They could destroy themselves, and others. We were right to quarantine them." One of his officers, who had observed humans more closely, spoke up. "With respect, Executor, I believe we misunderstood them. Their unpredictability isn't chaos, it's adaptation. Their violence isn't mindless, it's protective. Perhaps we should have approached them differently. Zalvex dismissed the suggestion. When our reinforcements arrive, we will retake the system and implement protocol extinction. The Council has spoken. Unknown to Zalvex, the transmission was intercepted by Samantha Reed's network. The full recording reached Earth Defense Headquarters within minutes. So that's it, Jack said grimly. They still want to wipe us out, General. Harris, now back on the Defiance, received new orders. Find Zalvex's command ship. We need to capture him alive if possible. The war won't end while he's free to continue the fight. As the Defiance and its escort ships moved to hunt down the High Executor, Dr. Lisa Chen made another breakthrough. Studying the Guardian technology from the outer system, she found a way to communicate with it. It's not exactly alive, she explained to Jack and Susan, but it has an advanced recognition system. It identified humans as descendants of its creators. That's why it's helping us. Can we control it? Jack asked. Lisa shook her head. Not control, no, but I think we can request its assistance. With the Guardian's help, human ships located Zalvex's hiding place, a small moon near Neptune. The High Executor had established a temporary base, while waiting for reinforcements. General Harris prepared for the final battle. His fleet surrounded the moon, cutting off any escape. Surrender, Executor, he transmitted. This fight is over. Zalvex's response was defiant. This fight has just begun, human. My reinforcements will arrive soon. Then you will understand the full might of the Galactic Council. William sighed heavily. Then we do this the hard way. He turned to his officers. Prepare boarding teams, we're going in. As Earth forces closed in on the last Council stronghold in the solar system, the fate of humanity hung in the balance. Victory was within reach, but the greatest challenges and revelations still lay ahead. The Galactic Council and its alien enforcers faced humanity's wrath. General William Harris led the boarding party onto the moon base himself. His soldiers moved with precision through the alien facility, disabling security systems and securing key areas. The shadow tech allowed them to approach undetected until they were inside the main complex. The command center should be ahead, William told his team. Remember, we want the High Executor alive if possible. They encountered heavy resistance as they neared their target. Alien guards fought desperately using unfamiliar weapons and tactics. But Colonel Martinez had trained Earth's forces well. They adapted quickly, using the three-dimensional thinking that came naturally to humans but confused the aliens. Finally, they reached the command center. The doors were sealed, but Engineer Peter Collins, who had joined the mission, quickly bypassed the security. Ready? William asked his team. They nodded, weapons raised. The doors slid open to reveal High Executor Zalvex and his senior officers. The alien leader stood tall, his blue skin seeming to pulse with anger. So, Zalvex said, the primitives have come to capture me. William stepped forward. Your ships are disabled. Your base is surrounded. Surrender now, and no more lives need be lost. Zalvex laughed, a strange sound like breaking glass. You think this is the end? The Council has ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years. We have seen species like yours rise and fall. This is merely a setback. A setback? William's voice hardened. You planned to exterminate us. We found your protocol extinction. Something changed in Zalvex's eyes. Perhaps the first flicker of doubt. We did what was necessary for galactic security. Your kind is too unpredictable, too dangerous to be allowed free rein among the stars. That wasn't your decision to make, William replied. Every species has the right to determine its own path. Before Zalvex could respond, alarms blared throughout the base. One of his officers checked a display and turned to him with what looked like relief. The reinforcements have arrived, Executor. They're entering the solar system now. William received the same information through his comlink. General, Council warships have appeared near Pluto, at least 30 vessels heavily armed. This changed everything. Earth's forces were spread thin and many ships were still damaged from the earlier battles. They couldn't fight a fresh Council fleet at full strength. William made a quick decision. Secure the prisoners. We're leaving. His team quickly restrained Zalvex and his officers. As they escorted the aliens back to their ship, the High Executor spoke again. "You see, human? The Council cannot be defeated. Even now, your victory turns to ashes." William didn't respond. They boarded their ship and departed the moon base, joining the rest of the fleet as it prepared to face this new threat. Back on the Defiance, William met with Commander Jack Miller, who had come aboard to help coordinate the defense. "We're outnumbered," Jack said grimly, studying the tactical display. "And our ships have taken damage. The virus won't work on these new arrivals. They'll have been immunized against it." William nodded. "We need a new strategy. Fast." Before they could formulate a plan, something unexpected happened. 7 ships appeared suddenly, taking position between Earth's fleet and the approaching Council forces. They were unlike any vessels William had ever seen, with elegant flowing lines that seemed almost alive. "We're being hailed," the communications officer reported. It's the Trillari and Voth ambassadors." The view screen activated to show 2 alien faces, one soft and tentacled, the other hard and crystalline. "General Harris," the Trillari spoke. "We bring allies. The evidence ambassador, Wright shared, has had effects. Many species have long suffered under Council rule. Today they choose to stand with humanity." Jack stared in amazement as more ships appeared, joining the first 7. Soon, a new fleet had formed, matching the Council reinforcements in number and firepower. "The Council no longer speaks for the galaxy," the Voth representative added. "Today we form a new alliance, one based on mutual respect, not fear and control." The Council reinforcements slowed their approach, clearly confused by this unexpected development. Then, a transmission came from their lead ship. "This is Supreme Counselor Krelvor. I demand to know the meaning of this insurrection." Ambassador Susan Wright, who had rushed to the Defiance when the new ships appeared, stepped forward to answer. "This is no insurrection, Counselor. This is a revolution. The species of this galaxy will no longer accept Council tyranny. We have seen your true nature. The quarantines, the experiments, protocol extinction, it ends today." For several tense minutes, the 2 fleets faced each other in silence. Then, incredibly, the Council ships began to retreat. "They're standing down," Jack said in disbelief. "They're actually standing down." In the days that followed, representatives from 23 species gathered on neutral ground, the captured Council orbital structure near Earth, now repurposed as a meeting place. There, they began negotiations for a new galactic organization, one that would respect the rights of all intelligent life. High Executor Zalvex and other Council leaders were put on trial for crimes against sentient beings. The evidence from Earth's captured data proved overwhelming. The Council's long reign had ended, not with a final battle, but with the truth exposed at last. On Earth, celebrations erupted as news spread that the threat was over. Humanity had not only survived, but helped forge a new era of cooperation among the stars. Commander Jack Miller stood with Susan Wright and Dr. Alan Garcia on the observation deck of the orbital station, watching Earth spin below them. "What happens now?" Alan asked. Susan smiled. "Now we join the galaxy, on our terms." Jack nodded. "The Guardian technology confirms it. Earth was once home to the precursors. In a way, we're returning to our heritage." Within months, human ships began exploring beyond the solar system, no longer contained by Council restrictions. Dr. Lisa Chen's propulsion systems allowed them to reach nearby stars in weeks instead of decades. Peter Collins's Shadow Tech became the foundation for a new generation of exploration vessels. Lieutenant Olivia Bennett accepted command of the exploration ship Horizon, tasked with making peaceful first contact with species beyond former Council space. Captain Frank Wilson established an interspecies military academy, teaching human tactical flexibility to their new allies. The ancient Guardian system from the outer system was studied carefully, revealing secrets about Earth's distant past and humanity's unexpected connection to the precursors who had once traveled between stars. As for High Executor Zalvex, he spent his days in comfortable confinement, being interviewed by human psychologists and diplomats who sought to understand the Council's fear of humanity. Gradually, even he came to recognize the Council's fundamental error. They had mistaken adaptability for aggression, innovation for chaos. 1 year after the failed quarantine began, Earth officially joined the new interstellar cooperative as a founding member. Ambassador Susan Wright became humanity's first representative, with Dr. Garcia leading a multi-species scientific exchange program. Commander Jack Miller declined a prestigious administrative position to captain a diplomatic vessel. His mission would take him to the former Council homeworlds, building bridges with species who had once seen humans as a threat. As his ship prepared to depart Earth orbit, Jack took one last look at his home planet. The Council had tried to contain humanity, to prevent them from reaching the stars. Instead, they had united Earth as never before and helped forge a new galactic community. The species that the Council had feared was now helping to lead the galaxy toward a future brighter than any could have imagined. Humanity's greatest strength had never been its capacity for violence, but its unlimited potential for growth, adaptation, and reconciliation. As Jack's ship entered the starstream, heading for distant worlds, he smiled to himself. The adventure was just beginning.